for hundreds of years to keep your people in subjugation. And I'm speaking now a reality that the history books do not record, but history does. Christianity was used because if I said, okay, you don't believe the way I believe, and Christianity is the best way to believe, so I'm going to take you, and it's going to be for your own good, honey. It's going to be for your own good. I'm going to take you, and I'm going to tear away everything about you, and just keep your hands and your feet, because they can help me getting off. But I'm going to do this for your own good, because I'm going to give you a God. Now, what does that God look like? The reality of it is when he came here, he didn't look like me. So what am I going to do about that? I'm going to make him look like me. So for hundreds of years, we've been telling you, and now you have to keep in mind that we took away any other God that you might have through force, through fear, through pain, through any means necessary. So now I'm going to give you a God, but I'm going to do that in a way that is going to further me. So I'm going to give you a God that looks like me, so that when you bow down to that God, you're bowing down to me. And because I wasn't hearing these things, because the Bible tells us what Jesus looked like when he walked here. The Bible tells us what he's going to look like when he comes back. We have taken that and changed it. Do you remember when Jesus went to Egypt? He hid in Egypt. The people in Egypt, honey, they're not white people. How could he hide that? See, so that we've done that. We've given your people a God that looks like me, so that you don't have any qualm about bowing down to me. See, because this is the image of God. I don't know of any sin that we've committed that's greater than that one. And we did it with the Bible in our hands when we were beating your ancestors for looking at us eye to eye. And we're quoting to them from this scripture. Even if we allowed them to have their own ministers, which there wasn't many of because we didn't allow them to read. But if we said, okay, you can have your church. This is my plantation. I'm going to do what I want with it. You can have your church. But then spies were sent. And those spies would stand outside the church, and that man would be beaten, perhaps killed, if he preached anything other than 3 sermons. And those 3 sermons were turn the other cheek, obey your master, and it's going to get better one of these days. God's going to take care of all of it. You're going to be in a happy, happy land. So put up with what you're putting up with now. And we made your people preach that to your people. And it's still being done. It's still being done. Those are the sermons that your people hear. Those sermons are what causes your people to comfort me when I do something that's wrong.
Who taught you, please, who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose? and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate, you should ask yourself who taught you to hate being what God gave you. We teach you to love the hair that God gave you. Here you way out in the middle of the ocean, can't swim, and you worried about someone that's in the bathtub and can't swim. We don't steal, we don't gamble, we don't lie, and we don't cheat. And that also deprives the government of revenue, because you can't get into a whiskey bottle without getting past the government seal. You can't open a deck of cards without getting past the government seal. There's a white man makes the whiskey and then puts you in jail for getting drunk. He sells you the cards and the dice and puts you in jail when he catches you using them. So he's against us because we fix it where he can't catch you anymore. We take the dice out of your hands and the cards out of your hand and the whiskey out of your head. The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman. And as Muslims, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us to respect our women and to protect our women. And the only time a Muslim really gets real violent is when someone goes to molest his woman. We will kill you for our woman. I'm making it plain, yes. We will kill you for our woman. We believe that if the white man will do whatever is necessary to see that his woman gets respect and protection, then you and I will never be recognized as men until we stand up like men and place the same penalty over the head of anyone who puts his filthy hands out to put in the direction of our women.
You've done tons of fasts. Do you feel it brings you closer to God?
I'm God, you God. See, I can't answer that. I said God means power. Power. Sure, you feel power.
So what are the benefits of a fast?
Huh?
What are the benefits of a fast?
Let me ask me that on the...
Yeah, it's wrong.
Oh, okay. You don't fast to make bad people good people. You fast to create a positive energy force where other forces can gather. The word fast means to abstain from. So if you drinking water, you're on a water diet. It's not a fast. You drinking fruit juice, you're on a fruit juice diet. When you take nothing, when you talk about the story of Jesus and them, that's 40 days on just breathing. I never understood why Gandhi got so much play. As long as he fasted on 13 days. I didn't realize that 13 days was nothing. You know, just breathing. And then everything in the body changes. You know, the universe takes over. And the people who know more than anybody else is the Church of God in Christ. See, I always thought you had to go X amount of days taking juice to get ready for a fast. Then they go from eating dinner to a fast. And when they break their fast, they go right back to the pork chops and nothing happens to them. But also it heals, it cleanses. See, once you go on a fast, the body starts consuming itself. So if you took a comb and combed your hair, what are the hairs going to come out of the comb? The weak ones or the strong ones?
The weak ones.
Okay, so if you have cancer, when you go on a fast, it start eating up all. That's how you heal. The day you was here, if you just assume when the universe invented this planet, it hadn't been back. So if it wasn't here then it's supposed to be here now. If it's here now, it wasn't made by the universe. Well, just had a hell of a story the other day. The third cause of death in America. One is heart condition, cancer, and doctors making a mistake. Is that kind of incredible, man? Mm-hmm. Is that
It's deep.
Yeah, and so that's what fasting.
What got you into fasting?
A woman named Dr. Fulton, probably the #1 faster on the planet. She's dead now, but a black woman in Chicago. Yeah, incredible.
But you fasted until peace was attained, or there were different missions. So was prayer part of the ritual of fasting for you, or?
I didn't. No, I just said I wasn't going to eat no more solid food till the war in Vietnam. I didn't know it was going to take 2.5 years. I said, hurry up, get it over.
What was the first thing you ate?
Huh?
What was the first thing you ate?
I don't remember that.
No? Because it's part of the sacrifice?
No, I do so many fasts. I do so many fasts. As long as I've gone on water, it's 180 days. The long on fruit juice is 2.5 years. The longest I've gone on nothing is like 3 weeks. Yeah. And then you start seeing things happen, you know.
Like what?
If I'm in this building here, and there's a circuit that's bad, it might not set the building on fire for 30 years, but to protect me, it blows it out immediately. Okay, just, everything go. That's fast. That's the universe.
Because you're in sync with a different level of energy.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's very simple ways to tap into that energy.
Huh?
There's simple ways to tap into that energy, that spiritual power.
Yeah. But fasting is the way. I'm sure other cultures got different other plans to do. And so when you know what I know, I knew a woman named Mother Gibson, Chicago. If you went to the Hilton Hotel today and she's still alive and killed everybody in here, if I called her for the police, you never do a day in jail. You know. Now, whether that's good to use it that way or not, I would assume it's not, you know. But those people who do that, they can't charge you. Because that means Queen Elizabeth could afford you, but poor folk couldn't. But the rich folks will give, she kept $500 million under her bed. Because the people that have it. I carried John Lennon by there when the government wouldn't let him in the country. And she said, Mother, take care of it. But see, you also don't understand how they talk. She said, yeah, Mother, take care of it, but you make sure you want to live here? She said, yes, because if you come here, you never be able to leave. Now, I didn't know she's talking about he'd be killed. But see, that's they talk, you know. And but the more you fast, you pick up other things. I remember me and John Lennon got real good friends. I said, who are you? Do you know who you are? I asked him. He says, no, but why'd you ask? I said, poor little ignorant redneck cracker like you out of that part of Britain ain't never made it big. How'd you do it? He said, that whole thing was. He said all our songs was to turn white children into drugs. He said, you know how high you got to be to see a yellow submarine? Hey Jude, that's about heroin. What's the thing, LS something? And you know, y'all know the word?
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Yeah, that's LSD, spells LSD. And when they came over here for the Ed Sullivan Show and them 200,000 white women was waiting to cheer, all that was a trick. All that was a game, you know. And then as he spent money to do things, his thing changed. That's why the rest of them stayed the same. But his thing changed. I mean, he was...
His consciousness.
Oh, Jesus, did it ever.
Oh, talk about him. I mean, I know you talk about him. I know you helped him. You spent a lot of time together.
No, I don't listen to music. No, I want to hear blues for not some negative shit. My baby done left me, huh?
Peace. What's up? It is Tuesday, October the 21st. Hope everybody's doing good. Man, the month is gone. Might as well say, 9 days left? 9, 10 days. We'll be doing a New Year's ritual pretty soon. It seemed like we just did it not too long ago. Let's do it again. I was reading. Announcement. That I'm doing the webinar again, not redoing it. It's the same webinar. So I'm gonna be doing the same webinar again on October the 30th. That's a Thursday. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you didn't get on it last time, you could definitely join it this time. I'm only doing webinars and seminars on that particular information. I will not be releasing it as a recording to anybody who doesn't get on that live webinar. So that's just the way it is right now because the information is so powerful. I'm not just ready to just let it out there. What am I looking for? I don't see what I'm looking for, but yeah, so October the 30th, I sent emails out. If you're not on my email list, get on it so you can get those alerts. Also, Skool, SKOOL, go over there. If you're not joining that, a lot of good information is on there, and including the fact that the Department of State has decided to change the DS-11 again. But as usual, it's a walk in the park for me. I looked at it. It's no big deal. But it's a big deal to people who don't understand it. So if you need to understand the DS-11, join the Skool. I posted a video up there just breaking down the new addition that they add to the DS-11. All right. So, with that being said, I got a lot of stuff. I think the title of this broadcast is Be Yourself. Be Yourself. And the reason why I said it that way or titled it that is because it says it. The book of Sirach in my Holy Bible, but the Apocrypha, the scriptures that they took out, the more and more I read this particular book, I can see why they took it out. Because it's basically a blueprint on how to be a good person. I can see why they took it out. And I'm going to read some of it to you today. So, the book of Sirach, starting in chapter 4, in verse 11. It says, wisdom teaches her children and gives help to those who seek her. See, there it is. Wisdom again personified as a female in the feminine aspect. Whoever loves her loves life, and those who seek her from early morning are filled with joy. Whoever holds her fast inherits glory, and the Lord blesses the place she enters. Those who serve her minister to the Holy One. The Lord loves those who love her. Those who obey her will judge the nations, and all who listen to her will live secure. If they remain faithful, they will inherit her. Their descendants will also obtain her. For at first she will walk with them on tortuous paths and will bring fear and dread upon them, and will torment them by her discipline until she trusts them, and she will test them with her ordinances. Then she will come straight back to them again and gladden them, and will reveal her secrets to them. If they go astray, she will forsake them and hand them over to their ruin. So this is wisdom. So this wisdom had to be someone. The way they're talking about wisdom here, someone who embodied wisdom, a god of wisdom, Sophia, that I spoke about many broadcasts ago. Watch for the opportune time and beware of evil, and do not be ashamed to be yourself. And this is why I titled the show Be Yourself. It said, don't be ashamed to be yourself. What does that mean? People today, because they don't want to offend people, are afraid to be themselves. They draw back from speaking when it's necessary to speak. Let me keep reading. For there is shame that leads to sin, and there is shame that is glory and favor. Do not show partiality to your own harm, or deference to your downfall. Do not refrain from speaking at the proper moment, and do not hide your wisdom. So it's saying, do not be afraid to speak at the proper moment, or do not refrain from speaking at the proper moment. We got a lot of nonsense going on. And the more and more I interact with people who are indoctrinated into the system, I really get to see how insane some of them really are, but they don't know that they're insane. That they don't know they lack wisdom. Like, for instance, I had a discussion with someone, and they were upset with Trump and the way he's doing things. And I'm like, they even blaming Trump for the shutdown. And I said, wait a minute. Trump don't control shutdowns. The Congress, they're the ones who didn't agree on something and it shut down. But but it's him. He's the reason why his party won't back down. And, I don't know all of the intricate details of the shutdown, and I don't pretend to know. But I do know how the government runs. And I know that Trump cannot just shut the government down. That's why they call it separation of power. The only group of people he can actually give direct orders is the people that work for him and the military. He's the commander in chief. Imagine if you had a president that can just tell the Congress to do whatever and they listen. No, they can't. That's why we have separation of power. But of course they are saying he's a tyrant, he's a dictator. They're coming out with all this stuff. That's not how the government runs. Then I was given the example, just to make their case. I was given the example of, what if my daughter was raped by someone and she got pregnant? Would I support abortion? I said, well, that's not my decision to make. Because it really isn't. It's not. I'm not the one who got raped and pregnant. It's the decision. It would be my adult daughter's decision to do whatever she wants with that situation. But then when I gave that answer, then it just, the goalpost kept moving in a direction that they wanted to me to feed into their ideology. I don't care about anybody's political ideology because I understand this government does not pay my bills. What they do may affect me some offhanded way, but my economy is dictated by my consciousness, what I believe and what I think. If I think this is the president's bad and the government is hurting my finances, guess what's going to happen? Because I adopted that belief system that the government is affecting me, then I'm affected. People don't understand that their mind is the most powerful thing they got going on. And if you allow yourself to believe these different things and you chasing them and you're a fear of this and fear of that and this happening to you, it's going to happen. I can guarantee you it's going to happen eventually. It's going to come visit you. And I've seen where if you had positive faith and you didn't pay attention to those things, stuff like that will bypass you. And you'd be looking around, oh, that happened to you? It didn't happen to me. Why? Because you're protected. Because why? Because you put forth the kingdom of heaven of God first. That is your first go-to and savior. The God within you, the God who works with you, your creator. We give so much power to these entities, and then we forget where true power comes from. The Bible says it. Do not worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow has its worries of its own. But people will come to you talking about how churchy they are, religious they are, but you'll see who their God is quickly when trouble hits. And people don't even realize what their true God is. Right now, the God of most people is fear. Yes, right, fear is a God. Anything that is dominating you and overriding your consciousness, it's a God to you. It's what you believe in that can affect you. Anxiousness, depression, that's a God. That has consumed you. A person can have many gods. And that's the problem. People are not properly educated in understanding how their mind works. And they've adopted these different gods and don't even know that they're gods. So back to what I was saying about the whole, first of all, then it was said, well, he didn't really stop. He didn't really get, he just made sure that the abortion was not on the federal level. The states get to make the decision. I said, oh, so the states get to make their decision. Okay. And y'all know I'm good at interpreting these founding documents like the Articles of Confederation and the Constitution, which, you know, to a person who's never read those or not interested in them, they believe that these laws that the Congress making are the supreme law of the land. They're not. They're laws that the corporation make, the church corporation is making for their members. The Constitution is what controls them. And if they make a law that contradicts that Constitution, that law is null and void. But it is not null and void if you consent to it. If you go along with it, you give up your rights by way of cession. C-E-S-S-I-O-N. And I said, oh, he gave it up to the states to do. Now, me understanding how the government works, I was like, okay, that's what he was supposed to do. The federal government came up with that abortion law many years ago. The states adopted it by way of cession, formally way of giving up rights of a state. Right? But just for sake of this, I'm going to take this side note because I have to be, because I go to my, where I'm, but y'all, most of y'all already know where I'm going with this, right? Y'all know what I'm about to read, right? Y'all know what I'm about to read. Articles of Confederation, right? Right here. The style of this confederation shall be the United States of America, not the United States. Each state retains its sovereignty. Right there on paper. Freedom and independence in every power, jurisdiction, and right which is not by this confederation expressly delegated to the United States in a Congress assembled. See, this is what I'm trying to talk. People will argue with you like they're right, because the information they have is limited to what? Secular education, which never shows them these things. So when Trump had nothing to do with that. He's the president. He doesn't control these laws. He does have veto powers. He does have executive powers. But he does have, I suggest you guys make these laws. These laws are volumes. And what it would do is outside corporate firms are hired to write the laws. And then they present it to the person who hired them, which is whoever wants this law put in there. And all of them get together. I want this law and I want that law in there. I want that law in there. That's the Congress. That's the Congress doing that. But y'all know your congressmen ain't the ones writing the laws. They get the credit for it, but a lawyer is writing that. Embedding it, making sure it meets the test of getting through Congress. Maybe the congressmen have an idea, but really corporations are influencing these people to write certain laws. So back to the whole abortion. When they created that, when that abortion law came by, when they banned it, or when they allowed abortions on the federal level and all states adopted it, the federal government, based on what I'm just reading here, that each state retains its sovereignty, it was always supposed to be left up to the states to make a decision on something like that, not the federal government. Should I read this again? It says each state retains its sovereignty, freedom, and independence in every power, jurisdiction, and right, which is not by this confederation expressly delegated to the United States in Congress assembled. See what it's saying is each state must expressly delegate to the United States in Congress assembled. So it's not even correct to say the United States. It's United States in Congress assembled. Right now, the United States is shut down for business. It's done right now until they open back up. United States is closed. It's closed. But let me keep going. So when I said, well, yeah, it's supposed to, when he did that. So when they so on him so bad that they don't even understand what they're saying. Okay, he only did what the Constitution gave him the power to do. Leave it up to the state. That's what they're saying. It was him leaving it up to. This is what was said to me, and it wasn't him. It's the Supreme Court that struck it down. Oh, but he controlled those Supreme Court people. I said, do you understand presidents are fall guys? Then I was told, oh, don't educate me on this. Well, then how are you going to have a discussion with me about something and make statements, and then when I rebut them with common sense and I didn't read this. I didn't make this document. This document was made in 1781. And I do realize that most people today, oh, this is an old document, it don't mean nothing. It means a lot. See, that's what the school system wants you to think, that it don't mean anything. It means a hell of a lot. And if you understand what these things say, you can have a degree of prosperity in this country. You'll realize this country is really not your enemy, it's your friend. You haven't just utilized it correctly. You see? Then in 4, it says, the better to secure and perpetuate mutual friendship and intercourse among the people of the different states in this union. The free inhabitants of each of these states, paupers, vagabonds, and fugitives from justice accepted. I could never stop reading this because it's always applying to something. So when you see situations where they're leaving it up to the states to make their decision, they're abiding by these Articles of Confederation, which was agreement with the 13 colonies who became 13 states, basically 13 countries, came together. And for those of you who think that state doesn't mean the same thing as country, go look it up. I'm not looking it up no more. I done looked it up many times, probably thousands by now, to show you that the synonym for the word state means country, kingdom. This is what happens when people get educated. They believe everything that came out of that university is the end all and be all sometimes. Education is a great thing when it's the right education. Because for some reason, these institutions don't teach you how to manage your money, which is the most important skill set that you need. They don't teach you how money works, how the banking system works. They give you some idea, but not real. Same thing with they're looking at all the immigrations in birthright citizenship. They don't understand that the 14th Amendment was there to disenfranchise what we call Black and African Americans today, who were originally the true American Indians. Oh, I know people. The one people that really want to be from Africa. You know the one people that really want to be from Africa? It's all these ignorant Negroes that believe the narratives that the schools told them about. They came from Africa. They brought over here by slavery by way of the slave ships and all this stuff. It ain't not the people that really want to fight for that is what we call Black and African American. I'll go to seminars and white people be sitting and they'll be shaking their head and agreeing that you're right. Now here's the crazy thing that boggles me, and if someone can help me with this. The same people that want to believe in the Africa diaspora nonsense are the same people who say white people lie all the time. They be lying. They lying about they doing this. They know all the lies that have been told to them. But for some reason, that lie they want to hold on to. Most of them people from Africa don't even want you over there. They don't even like you. Why? Because the media over there has programmed them so bad against us. We're criminals to them. We're no good. Really, most places that come over here are told that the black people stay away from us. Whether you come from the Caribbean, all of that. They tell them that. Listen, those ain't your people. My people from here, that's not your people. That's not your kinfolk. They not even from the same genetic pool, if you understand how the gene manipulation pool was working back in the day. Yeah, they got white black folks too, people that are darker than you with the white mindset. See, it's the people on this land that were born here. They got to get you to believe that nonsense. So you don't see what's right in front of you that belongs to you. So you won't claim it because it's there for you to claim. But y'all too, a lot of them want to be, I want to be African American, which is crazy in itself. People from the continent we call Africa don't even call themselves African. They call themselves Liberian, Somalian, Ghanaian, Nigerian. That's what they call themselves. That's their country. Wherever one of those countries that's over there. Yeah. Now, that's why I played that clip of the white woman explaining how they created this form of Christianity to disenfranchise you into serving them. Took your God and gave you their God, their white Jesus. Even the name Jesus ain't even appropriate. I said the name Jesus one time, and a Jewish woman corrected me. She said, there ain't no such thing as Jesus. It's Yahshua. And she's correct. I have the 1611 Bible. They don't say Jesus in there. That Jesus is a new word, new concept that they're using now over the last few hundred years. But see, you would never know because you ain't lived 100 years ago. You don't know what happened 100 years ago. And how slowly you was indoctrinated through your parents and relatives into believing what you believe right now. See, here's the problem. When people have something in their mind that they really believe in, there's nothing you can say to change their mind. And then when I was having that conversation, I got to a point where I knew I wasn't changing no mind, and I didn't care at that point. Believe what you want to believe. What I believe is helping me. And let me just touch on what I just said earlier about that's a different tribe of people over there. And I'm going to tell you, they not even from the original tribes, the 13 tribes. You know, they always talk about the 12. It was 13. The 13th was the Levites, which was the priesthood class. The priest class. Them people we call in Africa over there don't even come from none of those tribes. Let me change that. Only one group of people is part of that tribe. One. They're called Ethiopians. But the rest of them are colonized, test tube, gene manipulation to create a people in opposition because they knew what the color of the people were, the skin. So we got to create some similarities to make them think this your people. These are where you. This is all you. And then they get their scientists to say everybody started off in Africa. And that's the thing. When we believe in stuff, we're believing in the stuff that's coming out of the mainstream. You don't know if that stuff is true or not. But he said this, and he had said, and evidence is coming out daily to disprove all of it. I mean, the evidence is clear where the promised land is. Ain't nobody trying to bust the borders down to go to Africa. Go over there and sneak on the border. Ain't nobody from here doing that. Everybody trying to come over here. Everybody around the world is always coming, trying to get into this land. That's interesting. What about this land that draws everybody here? What about this land that is people are drawn to come here? Despite the high rents in a lot of places, they still are drawn to this place. No matter, and it's been happening for hundreds of years. The Asians were trying to get over here. Remember the years ago, they had Japanese concentration camps here. See, before they targeted Mexican and the Latino groups of people, the Asians was the target. Why this land? What about this land that everybody wants to come here? So when they started talking about birthright citizenship, and I understood exactly what was going on. Because when they created that 14th Amendment, it was to get the real American Indians, the ones who really were American Indians, to buy into becoming U.S. citizens so that they can give up their birthright. That's why it's called birthright citizenship. See, everybody was defining that backwards. Oh, birthright citizenship. If you come here, you get birthright citizenship. No, it's really if you consent to being born or naturalized into the United States, you give up your birthright citizenship. Or you give up your birthright to your indigenous heritage. Because what was the fight? Dred Scott was trying to get some rights, and he said, well, you're not a U.S. citizen. You don't have any rights under the United States. And everybody, see, in the way they promoted that, they made that seem like that was a bad thing. And it really was a good thing. Like, oh, you're not even one of us. That means you're not responsible for taxes or anything, any of those things. You are what the Constitution said. Indian not taxed. Okay? Dr. Teresa said, you're absolutely correct concerning the African mindset towards Black Americans. Actually, yeah, they don't like you. They tolerate you. You ever walk into their stores and see how they look at you? Look you up and down and look at you like, what this nigga want? Y'all don't see that? Come on. And we are an insane group of people sometimes. We will do business knowing people don't like us. We will go buy their stuff and be happy, smile on their face. And I stop doing that. If you ain't treat me, you're not getting my money, period. Okay? Now, let me get back to this book of Sirach. Sirach. Do not refrain from speaking at the proper moment, and do not hide your wisdom. I mean, speak up with wisdom. Never speak against the truth, but be ashamed of your ignorance. That's a big statement. Be ashamed of your ignorance, meaning go study. Becoming properly informed. In my definition, to be properly informed, you can't just read one book. You have to have other books and look at information from different sides. Then you can make an honest opinion on something. If I'm sitting around listening to one person say all of these bad things about this, that, and the other, and I'm taking their information as the truth, and I don't go and investigate, I'm going against what this says. Be ashamed of my ignorance, because I'm ignorant. Like I said, I don't favor Trump. I don't favor Biden. I don't favor any of these people because they're not my provider. They're not my covering. They're not the ones I have a covenant with. You got to remember, the people, if you read these books, the reason why God's people went into captivity. They started having problems because they forsook a covenant that they had with God. They agreed with for your protection and giving us prosperity and giving us the best lands. I'm going to keep your commandments. And he said, as long as you keep these, I got you. I'm going to protect you. They didn't do that. They wanted an earthly king. God was like, why do you need that? Ain't I enough? I'll say, but and he gave me, said, if you get a king, y'all gonna have problems. Meaning that men have a habit of being egotistical and letting power get to their head. And every one of these kings that I read about, that they detailed in here, all of them at some point got drunk on their own power. Even Solomon, David, all of them. David repented. David was the one king that repented after he screwed up. And after that, he did right. So because he kept doing right, all of his sons stayed blessed because of that. Even the ones that did wrong. Solomon did wrong. He said, I'm not going to tear your kingdom down yet because your father did right. He kept the covenant, and my word was with your father, not you. The covenant was with David, and David almost lost it. And when he straightened up, he said, "Oh yeah, I get you, Lord. I'm changing my ways." And he did that going forward. And every time one of these kings that messed up, he said, "The only reason why I don't tear you down completely is because of your ancestor David." And that brings us today. Some of y'all are doing great, okay, because your forefathers, your ancestors, kept the commandments. And some of y'all are dealing with a lot of calamity because your forefathers didn't. So we can sit here and blame white power structures and all of that, why we're having problems today. But how did we get here? How did we even get to this point where they can be allowed to take over? Because in the Bible, they were allowed to be taken over because they didn't keep their commandments. They didn't keep the traditions. They didn't keep the covenant. And right now, in this current state of affairs, we're not keeping the covenant 100%. So the only way to know what that covenant was is to go back to these old books and read it. The books that they don't want you to read. You got to go back. Do not be ashamed to confess your sins, and do not try to stop the current of a river. Do not subject yourself to a fool or show partiality to a ruler. Fight to the death for truth, and the Lord God will fight for you. It said fight to the death for truth. Wow. A lot of people gonna fail that one. Do not be reckless in your speech or sluggish and remiss in your deeds. Do not like a lion in your home or suspicious of your servants. Do not let your hand be stretched out to receive and close when it's time to give. I can see why they took this out of the Bible right here. You see that? It says, do not let your hand be stretched out to receive, but close when it's time to give. That's a big one. Do not rely on your wealth or say, I have enough. Do not follow your inclination and strength in pursuing the desires of your heart. Do not say, who can have power over me? For the Lord will surely punish you. Do not say, I sinned, yet what has happened to me? For the Lord is slow to anger. Do not be so confident of forgiveness that you add sin to sin. So that's one thing religious folks do. They feel like you can sin as much and then you're gonna just be forgiven. It's right here. It's written. This goes against the Catholicism theology about you go and confess your sins and then you just forgiven. Do not be confident of forgiveness that you add sin to sin. So people just keep doing stuff because they feel like they're going to be forgiven. For both mercy and wrath are with him, and his anger will rest on sinners. Do not delay to turn back to the Lord, and do not postpone it from day to day. For suddenly the wrath of the Lord will come upon you, and at the time of punishment you will perish. Do not depend on dishonest wealth, for it will not benefit you on the day of calamity. Here's why I'm going to skip down into chapter 6. Pleasant speech multiplies friends, and a gracious tongue multiplies courtesies. Let those who are friendly with you be many, but let your advisors be 1 in 1,000. So who you take counsel, it's basically saying be very particular about who you take counsel from. When you it's even talking about friendships. When you gain friends, gain them through testing, and do not trust them hastily. Wow. For there are friends who are such when it suits them, but they will not stand by you in time of trouble. And there are friends who change into enemies and tell of the quarrel to your disgrace. And there are friends who sit at your table, but they will not stand by you in time of trouble. When you are prosperous, they become your second self and lord it over your servants. But if you are brought low, they turn against you and hide themselves from you. Keep away from your enemies and be on guard with your friends. Just keep away from your enemies and be on guard with your friends, the ones you call friends. Faithful friends are a sturdy shelter. Whoever finds one has found a treasure. Faithful friends are beyond price. No amount can balance their worth. Faithful friends are life-saving medicine. For those who fear the Lord will find them. Those who fear the Lord direct their friendships aright. As they are, so are their neighbors also. So if you're a good person, you're going to attract good friends. My child, from your youth choose discipline, and when you have gray hair, you will still find wisdom. Come to her like one who plows and sows and wait for a good harvest. And when you cultivate her, you will toil but little, and soon you will eat of her produce. She seems very harsh to the undisciplined. Fools cannot remain with her. That's right there. A lot of, one of the biggest things is when people are given wisdom to the person who is not wanting to be accountable. This scripture explains it. It says it seems harsh to the undisciplined. Fools cannot remain with her. Some of y'all are hanging out with fools. She will be like a heavy stone to test them, and they will not delay in casting her aside. For wisdom is like her name. She is not really perceived by many. Wow. I'm going to stop right there. It's also, if you keep his one here, 27, it says, search out and seek, and she will become known to you. And when you get hold of her, do not let her go. This basically saying you're supposed to be seeking wisdom. The key to your prosperity is having wisdom, period. They broke every contract that was made stiff neck. Yep. They broke and then it was giving warnings. Take down those idols and stuff. And some took them down, didn't take them all down. They still was practicing different idol worships. And after they even saw what was happening to their ancestors, they still did that nonsense. See, they had every chance to fix it. As soon as they went back into the covenant and started operating out of the covenant, things went well. All right. It's 8:04. There you have it. Book of Sirach. It's one of the apocryphal books. I think, this is a very good. Here's one. It says, with all your heart, honor your father and do not forget the birth pangs of your mother. Remember that it was of your parents you were born. How can you repay what they have given to you? You can't. You can't. I had a mind to read this. And see, in this day and age, they want you to hate one and love the other. It's balance. You need man and woman. That together is what brings balance. Proper balance. You can't have without the one other. You have utter chaos like we have now. All right, with that being said, I'm out. I think I gave y'all enough. I will see y'all tomorrow on Unbound Souls. Y'all have a good night. Peace, prosperity, extreme wealth to all.